All right, guys, well, welcome back to another episode of the Packaging Experience podcast. And always with me, Tom.
Hey Jeff, how's it going?
Good, man. That hat looks great. The lights look great. I'm assuming you are pumped because of the Philly winning.
Yeah, man, that was a pleasant surprise. You know, you don't win every national championship by 32 points, so that's pretty crazy. It was a bit of a
Yeah,
stomping. So we got Super Bowl coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to be the Eagles versus the Chiefs and the refs. So we'll see
yeah,
how that goes.
yeah. I hear that's pretty. I mean, I thought it was starting to go a little towards the ref situation again. Whenever I was watching the Bills and Chiefs, I was like, oh, start to pay attention to it a little bit more.
There's definitely a questionable drop pass, and that there's no way Josh Allen didn't get that first down. There's two first downs that they said that were short, and that's just
For sure.
it's making the NFL almost an unwatchable product. And Roger Goodell's got to do something about it because people are getting sick of like this trend of it where it seems like they're pulling for the Chiefs to make it. And then, you get these tinfoil hat guys that are like, well, it's because Taylor Swift is with Travis Kelce, and Taylor Swift brings millions and millions of more fans to football. So if they win Super Bowls, then the amount of merch and everything that they're going to sell is going to grow tremendously. But at the same time, I mean, the owners would have to buy into that too, right? Be like, yeah, the Bills owner would have to buy into that and be like, yeah, you could beat us in the NFC Championship. We don't go to the Super Bowl, but we're going to make more money off of merch down the road. That sounds, I don't know. So I'm punching holes through that tinfoil hat theory, but
Yeah,
at the same time, it's a pattern that it's arguable to
yeah.
say it's not happening.
Yeah, because it's pretty consistent, like you're saying. It's happening so much. I mean, I think I even heard something about the colors that are inside of the Super Bowl, like the numbers and everything, and if there's the color is red or if it's blue or whatever the case may be. And it looked like there was red in there, and they were saying, "Oh, it's the Chiefs." I'm like, "Oh, well, it could go the Bills. Bills have that red pool stripe." And then there was like a silver thing, or not silver, it was gold, and people thought, that Washington was going to win. So I was like, okay, well, it's not inherently true, but it's still kind of fishy that people are paying attention to stuff like that.
Yeah, I think if you look at that Super Bowl LIX or 59 or whatever, I think it's actually like red and green a little. I think there's green in there too, so you can make the argument, but
Right.
yeah, conspiracy theories. But anyway, we got red for AdCon and green for the Eagles, so we're good. That's all we need.
That's all we need.
Um, so what are we talking about today?
Yeah, it's the big one today. As always, we got cereal boxes, we got the history of it, and the topic also is going to dive into, well, realistically, the viewers are going to be listening to talk about the packaging and what we can do better and the pros and cons. And I think we should jump right into it.
Yeah, let's go. All right. So before we get into cereal, I got a couple things I just wanted to say about the Eagles. I know we just talked about them in the intro, but first of all, I'll be wearing my black Saquon Barkley jersey and my short khaki shorts because that's what I've worn every single playoff game, and this seems to be working. That's huge. Here's the downside. I'm coming out to California the day after. And my flight is at 6 a.m. on that Monday after the Super Bowl. So if the Eagles win, I'll be celebrating and pumped, and that flight's going to come early. If the Eagles lose, I'll be depressed and up late and mad, and that flight's going to come early. So regardless, I'm going to be in a little bit of rough shape by the time I land in San Jose midday, come into the office. So that'll be fun. Maybe we'll take a still from that when I walk in. Either mad at the world and I fire everybody, or super happy and I give everybody the day off. That's it. There's only two options when it comes to Phillies fans and their emotions. So it's either going to be feast or famine. So be prepared.
Yeah.
You know,
Extremely erratic, huh?
yeah, we're awful. I'm
Yeah.
awful. All right. So
No.
cereal. Cereal is
Yes.
delicious. I love it. I don't really know much of the history of it. Can you give us some?
Yeah, definitely. Uh, so the history on cereal, basically, where all of this stuff started, not inherently churros, but where the Kellogg's basically created cereal was in, it was like the 1800s, and it was an accident. A lot of the things that we always think about now, we don't think of accidents happening. Some of the science behind it, though, is pretty intriguing. So, anyways, how Kellogg basically created cereal was meals back then, breakfasts back then were too hearty. I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat large amounts of sausage and eggs every single day, even though it'd be nice. But sometimes it'd be nice to, pop open a bowl of cereal, kind of get in, get out. And breakfast was real hearty. It was heavy. It was not easy for everyone to eat that. And so, um, one day there was a patient that came into Dr. Kellogg's office, and she had actually broken her tooth on one of the pieces of bread. And that bread basically back then, and I don't know if you've ever had, if you've ever seen that commercial. And there was also a movie about it too. There's like a little part in there where they threw a muffin and it went right through the door. It's similar to that, and that's why they were breaking teeth on those muffins. So, anyways, he saw that and he said, "Hey, we got to find a way to get around this." And yeah, so anyways, how it ended up happening was they were making this like complex little Odie thing. They put it on a tray, they left it out on accident, came back the next morning and took a bite of it. It actually tastes like cereal. So then over time they're like, hey, let's add some stuff here, add some stuff here. So of course the accident came from patient breaking a tooth, said, hey, we need to make a change, and accidentally left out all the food that they were trying and doing experiments on. Came back the next day. Little do you know, now we have cereal. Now, Dr. Kellogg, of course, he is one of two. So the brothers eventually in 1906 they created all of the cereal brands, and that's why now you see in the cereal aisle Kellogg's, and yeah, that's why we have cereal today. And eventually, they started going against like grape seed. I don't know if anybody's ever had that grape cereal, where it's like extremely hard. It tastes like a bunch of rocks in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised people
Grape
aren't going to the
nuts.
dentist. Grape nuts, thank you. I'm
Yep.
surprised the dentists aren't trying to figure out how to take that stuff off the shelf. So, but just to give you a little history, it was an accident. So here we are eating cereal that we love every day. It's enjoyable. It's sugary. It's delicious. It gets me through the day. And it was all because someone broke a tooth on a piece of bread. And now here we
Wow.
are. So,
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, cereals can range from decently healthy, like Honey Nut Cheerios or
yeah,
something like that, to just really awful, like Fruity Pebbles and stuff like
yep.
that. So, my family growing up, I mean, we always had cereal. Like our staples were Raisin Bran, sometimes Frosted Flakes, but those are a little bit on the sweet side. But it was usually that and Honey Nut Cheerios. Those are the three. And then if we went on vacation, then, we would get that sample pack with like the eights in there, like Corn Pop, Fruit Loops, all the fun stuff that was, saved for vacation, not everyday eating. But I mean, I love cereal. I eat
I
it
love
more,
cereal.
to be fair, I eat it more at 11 o'clock than I do in the morning. My kids eat it for breakfast because it's quick before we have to take them to the bus stop. But if I'm eating cereal, it's like, okay, it's late night and I have no willpower and I'm going to sit and eat a massive amount of carbs at 11 o'clock and wonder why
Yeah.
I'm not
Mine's either
shredded.
before the gym or literally right before the bed. So, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like wondering why I'm so bloated in the morning. But, I
Yeah, a bunch
refuse
of
to pay
a
attention to
bunch
that.
of dairy and carbs. It's like, why do I feel crappy? Oh
Why
yeah,
do I feel that way?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why I do it to myself, but I mean, it's hard to say no to any type of cereal. So,
Yeah.
that being said, saying no to cereal, give me your top three favorite cereals that you like.
We're gonna have to go with Fruity Pebbles,
Mm-hmm.
uh, or not Frosted Flakes. It's the Frosted Mini Wheats. It has to have the frost on there. The
Love
frost
that.
is, yeah, it's everything. Blueberry or strawberry, all equally good.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the leftover milk is amazing. And then I got Fruity Pebbles. I got Frosted Mini Wheats. Man, I'm gonna have to swing for the fences on this one and say Pops. Pops are good too.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
haven't had Pops in a while, so
Corn Pops? You're saying Corn Pops?
corn Pops. Yep.
Yeah, with the frog on it, right? I think that
Yeah.
was our guy.
The frog, and
Um,
then yeah. What about yours?
yeah. So Apple Jacks is one of my favorite, just because, like you said, the milk leftover is great. And Apple Jacks, I think, is just one of the flavors in Fruit Loops, but Apple Jacks is my jam. I really like those. Um, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, cannot go
Oh,
wrong with
yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And then, yeah, I think Frosted Flakes. I think that rounds out my three. And probably in that order. No, I would say Cinnamon Toast Crunch is number one with a bullet. Apple Jack's number two, and then Frosted Flakes. But they're
Yeah,
amazing. You know,
they
my
are.
my friends would sometimes get the ones with like the little what are they called? Marshmallows in them. You know, like Count
Lucky Charms almost.
Chocula. Oh, Lucky Charms. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
one too. But those like dehydrated marshmallows aren't
marshmallows.
great. They're
Yeah, they're
not the
full of air.
best. Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah.
I know. I was just gonna ask. I know you and I were talking about this a while ago, and it was a good question. I kind of want to bring it to light. Um, Milk before cereal or cereal after milk?
Oh, I think you're a psychopath if you pour your milk first. I have a good buddy of mine that I worked with at an old company for a long time, and he would do it, but only because he would go into the kitchen, grab the bowl. The fridge at work was by where the bowls were, naturally in the kitchen, and then he would pour the milk in and then take it back to his desk where he stored his own cereal. That's the only exception to the rule that I can think of. I think if you put milk before cereal, I
Yeah, I
wouldn't
think it
even.
reduces the amount of cereal that you have, unless you like you were saying that example, like your friend, that employer or the friend that you knew last. Anyways, and he was filling milk before he got cereal. That makes sense, but to the average eater, I mean, it shortens my cereal less.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And wouldn't it like just float on top and like spill over? I don't know. It doesn't seem to be the right batting order.
Yeah, sounds
And you
like a
should be on some
bath.
sort of government watch list if you do that. Um, I don't know. That's a little too far, but whatever.
That's funny.
Um, yeah, so that's kind of my opinion on that. Did you want to talk about the packaging, or is there anything else you want to talk about on the?
No, I think we pretty much hit home with everything. I think now we're, yeah, I mean, at least I'm ready to hear what you have to say about the packaging and the direction that it should be.
All right, so here's my opinion on cereal packaging. I know, let's explain the reason that cereal packaging is the way it is and why it bothers me. Number one, it's bag in a box. And the reason that it's bag in the box is because the bag, you can use vertical form fill and seal machines and you could go fast. So hold on, I got my bag in the box right here, right? And it's usually clear polyethylene, which isn't clear. You can see it's cloudy. Um, but this goes on a vertical form fill and seal machine. You can see it's a double tuck side gusset in here. This is a crotchier gusset right here. You know, and then this is your fin seal. These are your top and bottom or end seals. The little crimp seal at the top. Big fin seal in here. Big old fin seal. And the reason that it's this way is because you can fill these really fast. You can probably, I'm sure they have awesome equipment. You could probably fill, I don't know, I bet like 80 bags, 70 bags per minute of these on one vertical form fill and seal line, right?
Yeah,
But you
that's
can't,
moving.
this bag doesn't stand up, right? So if you think on your shelf, like if you look at the like generic brands, they're just in a bag, they eliminate the carton and then it just lays on there, but there's no shelf appeal. So that's why all these major brands put it in this box, because you have your bag that they can fill up quickly and they can throw it in this box really quick. And then look at this advertising space, right? So Cheerios, General Mills, like they're like, hey, we're a major brand. When I go to your grocery store, whether it's like Kroger or Trader Joe's or Publix or you know, Piggly Wiggly, wherever you're at, um, I wanted to stand up, and this is my billboard, right? So these guys, they bid on shelf space at different stores, and they're like, all right, I want to be at eye level of the cereal store so that the majority of the consumers are seeing it. And if you're paying for that grocery space, then you're going to want really good marketing for your particular product. And obviously, Honey Nut Cheerios does a good job with their marketing. You know, this is 2 bucks, but all 4 sides, you can get your nutritional data. All that stuff is on there. And that's the reason that it is today. But here's my biggest gripe, right? Number one, it's redundant packaging. Do we really need outer packaging for inner packaging? Just for marketing? I don't know. And then this is my other biggest gripe is, look, this was cut, but I can't reseal it. And
Yeah.
if you try to break this open on this one crotch of the tuck gusset, a lot of times it just rips down the bag, and then you get cereal in the box, and that goes stale. This will go stale because you can't reseal it. So, A, it should have a fitment, right? It should have a zipper, a press to close zipper, no question. Whether interlock or 360 or something like that. And then I would like to go to a stand up pouch, like a box bottom pouch or a plow bottom pouch, so that you can get all four sides and it stands up really well. But that's a lot more money and you can't fill them as fast. So that's where it is the way it is. But there is a patent out there, and it's called Easy Stand. Easy Stand, I think so. It's The patent is owned by a company out of Wisconsin. They produce pouch machines that do a lot with packaging, called Hudson Sharp, and I believe that's a company. I'll have to fact check this, but I believe that's a company that has a patent on it. But basically, what you do is you take your bottom gusset that makes a pouch stand up, and you insert it in a roll stock, so you can achieve a stand up pouch via roll stock. So you can get that, and you can put a fitment at the top of a press to close zipper as well. So it's out there. We've had some products that we've used the Easy Stand on, and it's hasn't been easy to work with. We just had a lot of trouble, a lot of ways. Sometimes the insertion of that bottom gusset wasn't great, but you should be able to way to like that. It's polyester on the bottom. Is there a way that we could do a pure polyethylene pouch? With the Easy Stand. I think like with the money of Hudson Sharp, they have the patent, so they should be financially motivated to get it to work really fast and really awesome for big brands like Honey Nut Cheerios. General Mills has the money too, so I'm kind of challenging General Mills or like these big cereal producers and Hudson Sharp to get in a room with some sick packaging technicians and figure this out so we can move away from bagging the box and get to a press to close zipper so that our shelf life is better and we can seal it better. So
Yeah.
and then our shelves, as opposed to being a bunch of boxes stood up, it would just be a bunch of pouches stood up, and same interaction. You could still get your billboard and your amazing print on that pouch. So that's the challenge I'm calling out to those people, to change the cereal industry, get rid of the unnecessary box, and give me a zipper, please. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I'll just take my cereal and I'll put it into a Tupperware or into a big gallon Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Again, but it's pure PE. There's not a ton of barrier there from an oxygen standpoint. So, if you could blend in some EVOH and PE, and get a lot of oxygen barrier along with the moisture barrier that polyethylene brings along with it, shelf life on cereal would be longer. The consumer experience would be better, but you shouldn't be giving any on your marketing and your shelf space.
Yeah.
And then you can move to a pure polyethylene, like I said, and make sure that it goes into the how to recycle store drop off stream, and
Yeah.
you reduce your need for cardboard. Um, so that's, I
And
think,
so to
go ahead.
really quick, I just for the consumer that's kind of listening to you, and could you elaborate on what did you say, EVE or EVP?
I said EVOH.
Okay, if you could you have any examples of what kind of that, what that is, if that's what you're
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So when you're blowing polyethylene, you could, like, there's a 3-layer line where you can blow 3 different versions of poly layer. There's 5, 7, 9. You can blow a bunch of different things and the polyethylene while you're blowing it to give it certain attributes. So EVOH is really easy to blow into your polyethylene. It's ethyl vinyl alcohol. And that's what it stands for, is EVOH. And what it does
Gotcha.
is it adds a bunch of oxygen barrier to polyethylene. So polyethylene, if it was just pure polyethylene by itself without anything blown in it, would naturally have good moisture barrier, but it wouldn't have great oxygen barrier. So let's say, for example, you add coffee in one bag and it's pure polyethylene, and bacon in another bag that's pure polyethylene, and they sat next to each other on the shelf. Well, after like 2 or 3 months, what would happen is your coffee would taste like bacon and your bacon would taste like coffee because they'd be
Wow.
next to each other, and the oxygen would be flowing in and out, and those flavors would be moving back and forth between the two. And it limits your shelf life, right? If you have too much air exposure right out of this big hole in the front of it, your cereal goes stale. So by blowing in EVOH, it still qualifies for store drop off as pure PE, but you would extend the shelf life of that bag, especially if you added the zipper to it, because you get not a full hermetic seal, but a much better seal, reducing that airflow in and out. And then you're adding barrier to the bag as well. So um, that's what I'd like to see the cereal space move to.
Yeah.
And who knows if it'll ever happen. It's so entrenched the way it is now with the bag in the box.
Yeah.
It's a little bit quixotic of me, I'm trying to take down windmills as Don Quixote did. So we'll see how that
Well,
goes.
well, thank you for explaining that because that was, I mean, it's super helpful considering like even myself, I didn't really understand exactly what that meant, but now that you're kind of just chatting about that in general, I think that was really good. Um, question though, too, those big bags of cereal that they already have, is that kind of the direction that you're thinking, or is that not, is that not long term?
No, because I mean like they're just big pillow bags, like double tuck
Yeah.
gusset bags,
Okay.
so they lay on their back, and then it's kind of hard to print. You don't get a nice billboard of it facing on the
Right.
shelf life. How would that work? Because you see them on that bottom shelf, they're kind of there and they're facing up, so you kind of have to pull it to read what it is. So
Yeah.
the marketing team at General Mills isn't going to like that. They want their branding and everything
Right.
facing towards the consumer as opposed to facing up towards the sky. Now there's a side gusset there, but you're not going to get much on there, and where that gusset tucks on the side, you lose advertising space there. So what I'm really thinking is no, like a big stand-up pouch, like
Yeah.
that. I don't know what's a good example of a large stand-up pouch. Some pet food comes in large
Like dog
stand-up
food or
pouch.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, something along those lines. That's what I'd like to see. Now, here's the rub, right? Well, why don't they do it? They already do it for dog food. Here's what's wild: cereal is way more cost effective than dog food. What people pay for the food that they put in their own bodies per ounce is like a fraction of what people pay for
Yeah. It's
dog food,
insane.
right? Like
Yeah.
I buy Fresh Pet. I love Fresh Pet. That's a stand up pouch, right? And it's got nice barrier to it, and it's really nice. And you have to keep it refrigerated. Um,
Oh, wow.
but that's expensive. I can buy a box of cereal for $3. Fresh Pet's probably like 12. So you can bury an extra 20 cents per package in pet food. It's hard on cost effective cereal to hide an extra 20 cents per package. Think
Yeah.
about how many bags of Honey Nut Cheerios General Mills makes a day.
Right.
It's got to be a
Yeah.
ridiculous amount. So let's say it's just for back of napkin math. Let's say it's 2 million bags a day they make of Honey Nut Cheerios. That might be high. But, and then it's an extra 20 cents per bag to make that. So 2 million times 20 cents, you're basically taking it by a fifth. $200,000 a day it would cost them to move to that bag structure. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Run rate over
Not something
that
they'd be
over the
happy
course
with.
of a minute. No, of course not. So that's where maybe the easy stand technology could come in, where they can at least run it faster, and make it recyclable. And then I think people here go back to sour cream. I'll get to that example in a second, but people are more willing to pay more per ounce for a product if the packaging is better. Sour cream is a perfect example. The Daisy sour cream used to come in tubs. It still does come in tubs.
Yeah.
So you
Now
look
it's
at the price
squeezed.
per ounce of the tubs versus that bottom squeeze, and why you're paying probably twice as much for that bottom squeeze, and almost everybody buys it. So it's a huge case study in the packaging world of people willing to spend twice as much for the product because the packaging is better. And that's where packaging engineering comes into play. So that sour cream, like if you get it in a tub, the top layer gets nasty because it's exposed to air. You get that like sour cream water at the top that you got to pour out. You
Yeah.
move it into that bottom squeeze, the shelf life is way longer because typically, here's what happens is you're making tacos, right? Gringo tacos, where you're doing the American version of tacos, which aren't legit tacos, but that's a conversation for another day because I'm a bit of a taco snob.
Likewise.
But you buy it for that, and then you make it. You do Taco Tuesday. You don't do it next Tuesday. By the time Taco Tuesday comes around the third week, you're throwing that sour cream out, and you got to buy another
Yeah.
one because it just doesn't hold up. Where with this one, you could probably get through 2 or 3 Taco Tuesdays, even more, without throwing it out. Just because.
Yeah.
And so people are paying twice as much per ounce. So in this situation, I think if they went to a really nice bespoke stand-up pouch with either a plow bottom or a box bottom so that it has like that nice girth to it and it always stands up super straight in the store, the consumer would pay more
Yeah.
for that, right? Like, especially like just the zipper, man. I would pay more for them. The zipper's not that much. It's like, I don't know, pennies per linear foot. So,
Okay.
like, to go across a whole thing, it's like maybe 2 pennies, 3 pennies. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the
Yeah.
cost would be, but it can't be more than that. Maybe it's 5 cents a linear foot, but still, it's only a foot wide. It's 5 pennies. So, make that. Do the packaging study that Daisy Sour Cream did with it and pilot it, right? We're going to pilot it at
Yeah.
the Midwest at 20 Kroger stores or in the Southeast with 20 Publixes and see how it does and see if we can put them next to each other, see what the consumer interacts with more and see how it goes from there.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps up our episode 10. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tom and I are always appreciative of you and everyone listening, and we hope you enjoy these conversations as we do. Looking forward to the next episodes, and again, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining for episode 10. Big milestone, double digits. Got our big boy pants on, hitting double digits. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Of course, tell your friends. If you like it, please subscribe. Please hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, whatever I'm supposed to say at this point, to get more people to follow. So, again, appreciate
Yeah.
your time and stopping by.
Yeah. And lastly, I know, Tom, we all know that you were Eagles for the Super Bowl. And just to make things interesting, I'm going to go for the Chiefs and the refs. And it's no hard feelings. I will still text you congratulations in the morning, but just to make things interesting, this is going to be a good one.
All right. Just know if you do that, you should tidy up your resume. So I
That's
kid,
great.
kind of.
Yeah, kind of. That's the best. Well, like Tom said, just make sure you guys are subscribing. It helps us. So we appreciate you all, and thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in. And you guys all take care.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. See you later.